This is one of my new things I'm going to write about, calculating generosity. It's another way to have empathy and not responsibility. Just calculate it. So, setting your hair on fire, why don't we talk about as a church whether we need to reorder our sacraments? It's interesting, our sacraments, the order of our sacraments, developed in a time when it was dangerous to be a Christian. We don't live in that time anymore. Why don't we at least have that conversation? Inertia. So, buildings. The reason we're here, I'm glad there's a workshop called Nomadic. We're a nomadic people. We didn't just put stakes in the ground, we put concrete slabs with rebar and solid walls. And then when all the people moved away, we didn't know what to do. Couldn't pack up the tent. But I really can make a good argument for having buildings. We need an address. For me, the metaphor is a base camp. You know, churches ought to be base camps. We come there to heal, to get fed, to learn, to prepare. But in a base camp, you never stay. You go on. Reggie McNeil, he uses an airport, which I like a lot too. He says, there are lots of airports I like more than others. There are none of them I want to stay in. I feel the same way. They serve a purpose. You go there to get what you need, to get on your next flight, and to get out. That's what our churches can be too, and we need an address for that. So theirs, that's in that theme, in the title for tonight. Who is they? Every time I see theirs and we ask this question, who is they, is it the people, you know, when I read that first I was thinking, is it the people we look at in the pew when we're up at the front of the church, or is it the people who never darken the door? Who's they? It'd be good for us to figure that out. James Wellman, who's a professor at the University of Washington, he has this comparative religion class, and he sends out his 20-something students across Seattle. He sends them to 2 churches specifically. Mars Hill, which is a non-denominational mega church, 5,000 people a Sunday, mostly in their 20s and 30s. And he sends them to St. Mark's Cathedral, our Episcopal Cathedral. And this is what he told our clergy when he came to see us. He said, you know, I sent them out and I said, well, what did you think of Mars Hill? And they said, man, it was just energy. It was great. Didn't believe a word the guy said. Don't believe any of that stuff. What about St. Mark's? Man, I tell you, it was a great, great thing too. They really believe in what they're doing. We just don't know what it is. Now, see, that's one where we don't know whether to laugh or cry. Because then he asked them, if you had to go to church next Sunday, if I put a gun to your head and said you had to go, where would you go? Mars Hill. Why? You just told me you didn't believe a word he said. It's true, but we believe he believes it. He's authentic. I don't believe what he says, but I believe he believes it. It's interesting. And we can laugh that off. We can say, well, I guess it's all about entertainment. These are some of the things I'll get back to that. Or we can take it seriously and figure out, what is it? There's something wrong when we say, oh, those people really believe in what they believe in, but I just don't know what it is. That's inertia. Something for us to think about.